So this little bike is a 1970 Honda SL100. Picked it up as kind of like a basket case. Everything was disassembled on the ground. Focus on this project was how to take a $100 bike, not invest a ton, make something cool without completely destroying what the bike was. Probably the biggest project was the tank, where it had been kind of old school repaired with a bunch of lead that was placed over rust. And so I ended up just cutting out the front of the tank and patching in a new steel panel, welded it in, reshaped it mostly in metal as much as I could so that I didn't have a ton of body filler on it. Necessity of needing new handlebars, put brand new motocross handlebars on it, which kind of goes away from the old look of it, but I think it fits. This top triple clamp was broken off at the fork tube, and came up with a strategy on having my buddy that can weld aluminum fill in that void that we beveled out, and then just hand filing it back to as much of the original shape as possible. Bought a seat just off Amazon, cut the seat apart and narrowed it to fit this bike. Got to utilize a little bit of drafting and the plas table. I made a steel seat pan that's got a little fork that slides into a bolt at the tank, and then it won't lift off, and then this piece will get welded to the seat. This will bolt to the frame, and we'll weld a bracket or a tab up off of this to the bottom of the seat, and this will stop it from sliding all the directions, and the front will just slide in. We took it back apart from what they had assembled, decided to paint the frame black instead of the Honda silver. It is an enduro, so that led us to a trials tire, keeping with kind of scrambler enduro look. I literally just threw the wiring away and made a cardboard template, built a wiring harness and charging system just to know that the bike was going to work without needing to trace everything and find what was bad on the old system. Started tackling the motor. It did turn over, so we took the gamble on putting the engine in the bike and seeing if we can start it, and just discovering its condition from there, which we have now found is going to need a top end rebuild to make it stop smoking. Most of the repairs on this bike, I'm guessing, came because this bike was wrecked pretty hard. The triple clamp being broken, the tank being smashed in, the foot pegs being bent, the subframe and the handlebars are all bent. There's a tab that's welded on the front of the frame to stop the handlebars from slapping all the way to the tank, and it is broken off, and I'm guessing that's probably what broke the triple clamp and bent the handlebars. Is someone probably took a pretty big digger on it. So that was another big challenge of finding what was bent and distorted as we're putting it back together. We've removed the front fender completely and then bobbed the rear fender off. I learned how to paint, and this is my first paint project. I got a quote of $500 just for painting this tank and fender, and that just certainly didn't fit a $100 bike's budget, so I learned how to paint. We built a new exhaust for it, utilizing mostly what was still on the front of it, and then welding a moped muffler on the back of it to quiet it up. Headlight that's for a snowblower, an Amazon taillight. The focus was always $50 to $100 purchases for parts. Kind of napkin sketching up parts for a headlight mount, and CNC plas cut those, and along with the taillight mount, just simple little tabs that help keep the appearance clean, but still kind of quickly built on the whole strategy that this bike needed to come in at a very, very reasonable budget, but be cool. And it looks pretty good.